So, do you find yourself always getting sick and you turn to a traditional medical doctor trying to think that whatever symptom you have will go away and it doesn't get fixed? Or maybe you're trying to lose weight and you keep failing and you wonder why you can't do it. Well, I'm here to tell you your body is trying to tell you something. And I'm so inspired because this next episode of La Dolce Vita, the formula for fabulous living, my guest is going to share with you the wisdom that your body has. And if you know how to unlock that, you can have the health and vitality that you want. So stay tuned. Frankie Lee, dimmi, quale senso della vita?
The meaning of life is to live la dolce vita, which is the formula for fabulous living.
Hi, my name is Heather Picken, and welcome to the La Dolce Vita Show, the formula for fabulous living. I'm the catalyst in helping you to be more confident, create your dream business, and attract elite clients and live a fabulous life. Here's Heather helping you to upgrade your life to
fabulous. Upgrade your life to fabulous. Right, Frankie? You're fabulous.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of La Dolce Vita, the formula for fabulous living. Yes, there is a formula to empower every area of your life. And if you have it, you can really do amazing things. And, one of the biggest topics I've been thinking about lately is your health, because if you don't have your health, money doesn't mean anything. And it's kind of funny. I have to share a quick story because recently my boyfriend had a shoulder surgery and I was playing nurse. And here I am trying to take care of him, writing my next book, and I get a cold at the same time. And I'm just thinking, wow, what a difference your energy level makes when you're not feeling 100% aligned. And in that moment, I was thinking, I really have to focus on being healthier, not only for myself, but taking care of my boyfriend. And I think the subject is so fascinating. And I have my expert today, Dr. Dave Hawk. He is extraordinary. He is a chiropractor, a doctor of chiropractic, and he has several clinics in the Texas area. He's owner of the Texoma Wellness Center. He's got 3 locations. This man, he's on fire and he's on a mission, and he's a published author, and he's really dedicated to helping his clients and patients break through their obstacles and all the things that are holding them back. He's also a certified DiMartini method facilitator, and he has over 18 years of experience coaching clients one-on-one, facilitating transformational workshops, hosting retreats, as well as speaking and teaching to audiences globally. So, Dr. Dave, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Heather, it's so great to see you. I'm glad you're feeling better. It's wonderful to be here on your show today. Looking forward to having a wonderful conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, before we begin, I always want to ask people what inspired you to be doing exactly what you're doing. Let's start there, and then we'll carry on with the conversation.
Great. Yeah. Well, it's about 30 years ago. I, got into a car accident, and it was a pretty serious injury. Almost died. I ended up going to a chiropractor who basically saved my life, saved my neck, my shoulder. And, from then on, I decided, wow, this is an amazing experience. What is this called? And I changed all my plans of what I wanted to be doing for my life, and went straight into chiropractic school and graduated about 25 years ago. It's my 25th year in practice. Actually, I've been doing this half my life. I'm 48 now. So over half my life, I've been working with patients and clients. And the things I've learned over the years is the importance of having, but also having your nutrition physiology. So the thing I really am inspired about now and working more and more into practice is how what you think affects how you feel, and helping coach clients and patients through better health and through different disease processes, recognize when you're out of balance, and then how to get yourself back in balance by paying attention to your physiology.
I absolutely love this. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, the formula for feeling fit and fabulous. And it goes beyond just appearances. I mean, to me, it's important to look good physically, but I had just mentioned in the beginning of this show, I was feeling sick. I wasn't able to function 100%. And I was concerned. And I started looking at, where do I need to nurture myself? If I'm giving too much of myself away, where do I need to get myself back into balance? So let's talk about this conversation, because this is so important. I really want people to get the message that you're going to be sharing with us today, and how our mind impacts our body. And one of the first things I would like to start with is, there is, so many people in the world today, and I know at least in the US, are on antidepressants. And I think it's a really interesting, not only that, but the opioid epidemic is just skyrocketing. So what do you think would be, the problem to really solve that? Like, let's just say, for example, let's just start with depression.
Mhm.
In your
Right.
mind, I want you to define depression and how you would help someone to get over that, because if they're feeling depressed, obviously that's going to impact their health, right?
Exactly. And I think, I know I've been through this 10 times in my life where, you're looking at your life and you're looking around and going, wow, this isn't really what I really would love to be doing. And you compare your life to a fantasy life that you really would love to be living. Think your life isn't that great. And that's going to make you feel depressed, or make you feel that something's screwed up, or you're in the wrong spot, or something should be different. And the ironic thing is, the reality is, everything is in perfect order at all times. And if you're not appreciating the life that you're living now, then you're not going to wake up one day and all of a sudden have a life that you love if you're not loving what you have today. And so this is obviously a challenge I see in my own life and in my clients' life, is being able to wake up every day, and even when you feel the chips are down and things are maybe not going your way, is being able to find the appreciation for yourself and for your life and for everything that you've manifested, because we're always in a perfect place at the perfect time. And if we're trying to run away from our lives, then we're certainly going to keep running back into the same problems over and over again. Life is school, and we have lessons to learn. And if you try to move past these lessons without learning the lesson, the universe is going to slap it right back at your face again.
I love this conversation. And for those that are watching or listening, we might have a couple of interruptions. So with the video, but we'll just keep going, because this conversation is so important. I really want people to get this, is that, if you're not appreciating your life, or if you're comparing your life to someone else, we start creating symptoms, right, Dave? We start creating symptoms in our body.
You start having low energy. You start having your immune system compromised. Little symptoms, and your body is designed to give you these symptoms as feedback mechanisms to teach you that you're out of balance somewhere. And that somewhere is going to be either chemically, physically, and or emotionally. Usually it's all three. But the underlying emotional aspect is where I think that is a lot of times we fail to look at. We try to look at the outside for things to fix us, when actually it's an inside job. Healing and being inspired about your life is inside. And so if you look there first and find out where you're imbalanced in your thinking, then the other physiological signs and symptoms start to clear up almost immediately when you start to have gratitude for yourself and your life.
I think that's really interesting. And I can think back to when I was, I think it was in college, I started getting chronic bladder infections. And I went to a specialist, and I remember he told me that I would have to be on antibiotics for the rest of my life. And this is before I started doing research about the whole mind-body connection. I said, screw this. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to be proactive in my health. So if we're looking at something like a bladder infection, how can we relate that in our lives as being out of balance?
Well, it has to do with the meaning that we give things. I mean, we all have a different set of values, things that are most important and least important. And then we all judge the world, and we have our perceptions, affected by our value systems. And so, one event that you see as labeled good, someone else may see that as labeled bad. And so whenever we have some imbalanced perceptions, different diseases, symptoms, and it's fascinating to learn all these different kinds of conditions and their different links emotionally. And so when you have that material and have that information, when someone comes in, say with a bladder infection, well, you can narrow in closer to, what maybe the underlying emotional tie to that is. And once you know the person's values, you can really understand what's going on emotionally for them that's creating their physiological symptoms. Now, what I do see.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that one of the common things I see I've seen in practice is, when someone has a symptom, what's the first thing they want to do? Well, they want to get rid of that symptom. And medically, what we do in this country especially is give pills, give drugs. You're depressed, here's an antidepressant. You have pain, here's a pain pill. You have inflammation, here's an anti-inflammatory pill. You have anxiety, here's an anti-anxiety pill. And so learning about what the imbalance perception is, and then you can grow from these experiences, because that's what our body's designed to do, is teach us where we're out of balance by giving us these symptoms. So if you don't learn to pay attention and decipher what those symptoms are telling you, then you're going to keep running into more and more health issues, and your health issues tend to get more and more and more severe because the body's just trying to wake you up to your own intelligence and to your own perfection.
That is really fascinating because I can actually relate to why I was having that as you're mentioning it. At the time, I was in like one bad relationship after the next. And what I would see as a correlation is that I would get that every time. And so I guess what you're saying is my body was trying to wake me up and saying, listen, Heather, you should really be paying attention to your relationships because your body is screaming at you.
Maybe you're not letting go of something, or a lot of times when I have patients who come in with bladder issues like that, or urinary tract issues, they may be really pissed off at something, and they're not moving past that. So that's going to affect that area. Whereas if maybe they got knee problems or hip problems that's causing them, they can't stand something. So there's something about their life they're not able to stand, or maybe they're not moving forward. So there's so many different links. And so being able to understand the person's values and where they come from, you can really tie in that to the physiological symptoms and get down to the really root of the issue and then solve the problem. And once you solve the problem, then you move past that problem.
I absolutely love what you're saying, Dave. And let's tie this into fitness and being fabulous. Let's just say a woman wants to create her ideal body. She's been trying to lose weight for the longest time.
Yeah.
And as we're coming upon the new year, you get those New Year's resolutions, which we all know that they don't work. And she gets all fired up and pumped up, tries to lose weight, and then she goes back to her self-sabotaging ways. So why does that happen, and what can we do?
It all goes back to values. Like I said, we have a hierarchy of values, what's most important and least important. If your highest value in your life was health and fitness, then you would already have health and fitness automatically and intrinsically and wouldn't have to go get it. And so when people set resolutions I've been working with 25 years on this, people set these resolutions and it's maybe unrealistic based on their value system. And maybe for a short period of time, they're able to stay on a program, but as soon as something else comes in their life that's higher on their value, that wants to take their time and energy, the thing that's lowest on their value will always take second hand. And so again, like someone that has a lower value on health and well-being will set a goal to have wellness, but it's unrealistic based around their values. So the answer is linking your highest values to your health goals. And if you can tie that together and see enough benefits to your highest values of reaching your health goals, then what I see is my clients are more likely to achieve those health goals and stay on the program because they can see it's directly linked to their highest values. And if they don't see that link, then, within 4 to 6 weeks, they're back to the old patterns again.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting when I hear people say, I'm going to go on a diet, I want to lose weight. And just those messages alone saying I have to, losing weight, instead of really changing also that image, that self-image, because I had struggled. Part of my story, for those people that may or may not know, I struggled with my weight for years. And it became something that I felt like, gosh, I really want to pursue this. And I felt empty inside. And so I got into bodybuilding and fitness, and that actually changed my entire life. And it changed the way that I started seeing myself and created habits in my brain so that I was focused. So now it's so automatic. Like I don't think,
It's
oh,
automatic.
I don't want to eat that piece of, like, oh, the piece of pizza. Oh, I'm so tempted. Like, I don't even have that in my,
Yeah.
my focus. Well, let's also talk about like intuitive eating. So we're tying all the mind, body, and system. What I noticed when I was sick recently, my body automatically was craving fruits. I mean, I eat some fruit, not a lot, but lots of fruits and soup, like in a overabundance. So what does that tell you? Does it tell you that I had a deficiency, or how can we also use that to our advantage?
Yeah, I think what I see a lot of people doing is emotional eating, and comfort eating, and it's a very common thing for people who are feeling unfulfilled in their life. Is they'll try to find those things, and so a lot of times when I see people, they will find an underlying, something going on in their life. They're unfulfilled, or they feel depressed about something, and just like drugs or alcohol, you're attracted and you're drawn to these things because it helps you feel better for a short period of time, but it's not really getting the underlying issue. And you can tell a lot by people's languages, such as when you're following those highest values, and you probably see this when you're working out and you're exercising. Like you said earlier, trying to do this weight loss program, it's all about got to, should to, have tos. So when I hear that language with someone, I know that they're probably not living according to their highest values when they're doing those actions, and they're probably not going to stay on those things very long. As opposed, when we hear love to, choose to, desire to, you know that that's intrinsic and it's automatic, and you don't need to force yourself. No one's got to drag you out of bed to go do those things that you love doing. But man, they really have to drag you out of bed to do the things you've got to do, have to, or should do, right?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, it's been like a week since I've worked out. And finally today, I am going to go back to the gym. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I'm just like going through withdrawals right now. So I totally
Exactly.
appreciate what you're saying right now. So, what are some of the things that, because I know a lot of women listen or watch the show, like they can do to start kind of uncovering what's most important to them and their values so that they can start focusing, not waiting to the new year, but focusing on right now what they can do to start changing their body, like creating optimal health and vitality, because I know that's one of your specialties.
Yeah, so first thing you do is start paying attention to your body, because our bodies are so magnificent at telling us when we're out of balance. So, pay attention to how you feel when you eat certain foods or drink certain things. Pay attention to your physiology and how do I feel? How's my energy after this? How's my digestion feel after I please start paying attention more closely, and then pay attention to foods that make you feel more energetic and help you sleep better, or help you, think more clearly. And those are the great indicators of you're on the right track if you just pay attention, to your physiology, and get really clear on what's important to you. Money on what do you spend your time doing? What do you love to set your goals toward? How do you spend your time and energy? Those things are indicators of what's highest on your values. And when we're doing the things that are highest on our values, our wellness and health soars when we're doing the things that are highest on our values. I always like to say that the highest level of wellness is when we're living according to our highest values and we're being authentic. And so if you can tap into your highest values and start
Cut
Does
out a
that make
little.
sense? Oh,
I'm
yes.
sorry. Could you repeat what you just said? Tapping into your
I
highest
said,
values.
I like to say that the highest form of well-being and wellness is when you're living according to your highest values and you're living authentically. In addition to your highest values, live authentically, pay attention to your symptoms, and you'll see your health will automatically improve when you're just living and being yourself.
I love that. I just think that is so important. And I don't know if you read the book, Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz, but he was talking about, he was a plastic surgeon, and he was talking about how he did this, people didn't see themselves as beautiful, and they got this plastic surgery. And when it was done, they looked themselves in the mirror and still saw themselves as ugly. So isn't it interesting how you were talking about earlier, how we're living by our highest values. We're also creating perceptions of how we're seeing the world, and it's truly a feedback mechanism. So it's important, when we're looking in the mirror, to really love and appreciate ourselves as we are, because as women, I know as women, I think we're really hard on ourselves. I don't know about men, but looking at themselves like,
We
oh, I don't
are.
like that, and like you're saying, really, really love and appreciate yourself and not try to compare yourself to other people.
Yes, I was just going to say, comparing yourself to others is something that I think I see people do quite often. And, it's unrealistic to do that because everyone is so unique. And, you're perfect exactly how you are. And you're designed, and, you're the highest authority on being who you are. And so if you can just be who you are, love and appreciate your life for what it is and what you've attracted to, if you look in the mirror every day and you don't love what you're looking at, that is going to create internal stress and conflict, and self-esteem, self-worth goes down, and and everything snowballs from there. Because if you don't have self-worth and self-esteem for yourself, then you're not going to have the deservingness to have better health and well-being. And so it all starts with loving yourself for who you are and living authentically. Different. You'll automatically start going for the healthier foods. You'll automatically still like starting to exercise when you love yourself more. And when you don't, and when you're putting yourself down, then you're going to go for those foods or those comfort foods and things that aren't so good for us, because you're trying to get that temporary fix to feel better just for the moment. And then after it wears off, you're back in the same boat again, right?
What you're saying is so critical, and I just want to highlight that, is that really when it comes down to having your ideal health, having your ideal wealth, any area of life that you want to improve, you've got to come from that place of loving yourself and who you really are. And I have to tell you, I think this is the biggest thing that not only women struggle with, but everyone on this planet, because now, I'm looking at social media, and I think that actually is one of the worst things for people to start comparing themselves. You look at these Instagram accounts, and like if we're talking about women, you're seeing them in bikinis or thongs. I mean, it's just crazy what's out there. And you start beating yourself up going, oh my gosh, my body doesn't look like that. And if you don't have the wisdom, like what you're saying, and not being able to apply it, then you are depressed, right? You're feeling stressed out and saying, I look like crap.
Yeah, you're comparing yourself to an unrealistic fantasy, because the reality is every single person has their own stresses, they have their own anxieties, they have their own insecurities, their own fears. Everyone has it. And show the world that you're perfect and you don't have those things. But, just realize that everyone is the same. We just have a different set of values. And when you're living according to your highest values and you're living with purpose, then nothing's going to stop you from having the health you desire, having the relationships that you desire, having the career and the finances that you desire as well. So it all comes back, and it starts with you being you, tapping into who you are. Yes.
I love that. The last little part cut off, but what you were saying is just really being who you are and tapping into who, that unique person that you are. And it just makes so much sense. And this is such an important conversation. And I see that we're out of time, but for those that want to learn a little bit more about your work, Dr. Dave, where can they learn more about you? I know you have a couple different websites, but what's the best way to reach you? And we'll also include that in the show notes.
The best way is going to be go to supremewellnesscoaching.com. It's got myself and my wife. We have a coaching practice, and this has our bios and our information, contact information. You can ask questions. You can sign up for a free 20-minute consultation just to have a conversation about what's going on, and try to get yourself plugged back into you again, and increase your wellness and overall health.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Dave, for being my guest today. And I really encourage everyone to check out Dave's site. It's in the show notes, so make sure that you look him up. Take advantage of that 20-minute consultation, especially if you're, feeling something that is off in your body, because he works with anyone, anywhere in the world, and I highly recommend him. So again, thank you so much for being my guest today.
privilege, pleasure. You're an inspiration, and thank you for having me on your show.
My pleasure. And I just want to close out this show. If you are inspired, you're a woman on a mission, you want to empower all 7 areas of your life. My mission is really empowering and inspiring millions of women on this planet to really own their power, own their greatness. And how I get this message out is sharing this on iTunes and rating, reviewing, subscribing, and on YouTube. So if you have a show idea or guest for me, please email me at support@heatherpicken.com. Until next time, this is La Dolce Vita, the formula for fabulous living. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right.
So if you found this show to be fabulous, please share with your fabulous friends, rate, review, and subscribe on YouTube and iTunes. And I'll make sure I take a beatbox lesson, right? Or give my little chihuahua a bone. That's me. Fabulous.